Hey, 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 guys, and welcome back. First of all, let me just say this. Happy New Year. I hope you guys had an incredible end of the year and a phenomenal beginning of the year. I want to welcome you back to Tuesdays at Lunch in the Music Box. And I'm super duper excited today because my guest today is someone super important to me. It's a family member. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce you guys to my cousin, Isaac Parham. Hey,
Hey,
Isaac.
hey guys, how you
How are you?
doing?
I am doing phenomenal. How about yourself?
Wonderful, wonderful.
So I'm super excited to have you here. And it just, it's a new year and I got my cousin here and he's doing the thing, all the things I should say.
Well, I'm
So this
super
is good.
excited to be here. Thanks for
Yeah.
having me.
Yeah. And thank you for committing to come on like that. I mean, like it's just, sometimes people are like, well, no, I didn't. I'm like, but come on, please. And you're like, yeah, I got you. So I love that. I love that. I love it when family comes in for you.
No
Um,
problem. Thank you.
so before we even get started, can I get you to kind of like do a brief introduction of yourself?
Okay, my name is Isaac Parham. I'm a saxophonist born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland. I've been playing for many years. No, about 30 or 40 years.
Okay.
And I play around town and internationally. I play different places. I did Canada and Montreal with Ain't Misbehaving play up there, and
Ooh.
been going out different places playing and just trying to maintain during this pandemic.
Hey, you know what? I think we're all like treading water, just trying to stay afloat during the pandemic.
Yeah, it's interesting. Even with the technologies and stuff that's coming out, even this right here, it's just interesting, and it's the new normal and how we change things and how we're doing things now.
Yeah, exactly. The new normal. First of all, I don't think normal will ever be in our vocabulary ever again, period.
Right,
We're just like,
right.
oh, this is just something new that we're doing. This is just the new
Yes.
new.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't mind, can I just like take it back a little bit to
Sure.
so you play the saxophone, obviously. That's why you're here, because my
Mm-hmm.
cousin plays the sax. So let's talk about you growing up. What was it like? I mean, what was music like in your household?
I didn't have a lot of music in my household. I had real early memories of my dad playing around on the guitar and playing on piano sometimes. But other than that, it wasn't a lot of music till I went to school. And I joke, and when I was in junior high, that I heard a song by the Temptations on the radio,
Hmm.
and it was a solo in the song. And I asked my brother what was instrument was that. He told me it was a saxophone. And later for me to find out it was a synthesizer, but at that I had already started playing saxophone based on that.
Okay.
But yeah, so I just started in junior high, and just kind of stuck with it. Had a real good core of friends who were playing music, and we all just played together and stuck to it from then to now. It's always been something real good for me to do and ease my soul.
Oh, that's phenomenal. So what was the song?
Ah, see, it's a little before your time.
Hey, I like music. All genres, all years too, The good
I don't
stuff
know
was
if you
before
remember.
my time.
It's all called Memories by the Temptations.
Uh-huh.
Memories, memories.
Yeah, I know that
And
song.
then in the middle is like a little interlude, and it's a synthesizer. But
Okay.
like I said, I was listening to him. He said it was a saxophone. So
So wait, let me ask you this. So did you learn to play that part even though it was a synthesizer?
I never. It's in my mind. I know the part, so I'm sure I can play it. But I
Uh-huh.
never really tried.
Oh, okay. So I hadn't really, I like to do this kind of like really organically. Like I do have a list of questions, but then like as you say things come to mind.
No problem.
So like I didn't know your dad. So your dad was my grandfather's brother, right?
Okay.
It was granddad's brother, my
I
granddad's.
believe.
Okay.
My sister keep all those records.
I know. I don't know how she does that. She knows everybody how they tie together. All right. So what I do know is I'm sure that's how it is that my grandfather
Hmm.
was your dad's brother. It amazes me when now that I'm learning more and more about our relatives, how many of us actually play an instrument. I mean,
Yes.
that's why I titled this Born to Play, because there is a lot of music in our family,
It sure is. It sure is.
and you said your dad played the guitar, and I'm like, wow, really? That's
Well,
something new?
he played around, little rinky dink songs. I heard him
Yeah.
play. But as a young kid, I kind of remember that. I don't think it was. It was just like not nursery rhymes, but
Mhm.
little. How many chickens have I stole? All that
Yeah, but
stuff.
yeah, but if you can play that, you can play more than that.
That's true. That's true.
So because then I sit back and I know my dad played the trumpet,
Mm,
drums, French horn, and he tinkered with the piano. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then Warren plays the drums.
okay.
So I'm like, okay, this is good. And then I play the piano. And
Okay.
like my oldest daughter plays the cello, and my baby girl
Wow.
plays the saxophone, as because she's
Okay.
like, I got to get with our cousin and we got to do some things together. I'm like, okay, I
Hmm.
got you, I got you.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's not, and like again with technology, and you just meet a lot of people on Facebook. There's
right,
Terry Parham who
mhm,
plays keyboard down in Waldorf,
right,
and we
right.
talk a lot, on Facebook and stuff, so it's real interesting. This whole, the whole technology piece.
It is. So you guys hear this? The Parham DNA runs deep when it comes to music. Okay, we got it all covered, all of it. We
Hmm.
got it. We got that. Um, so growing up, who were your musical role models?
Um, my first and foremost role model was Grover Washington Jr.
Oh, yes.
And I kind of discovered him late when I was leaving junior high school, going into high school.
Uh,
um so when I got to high school, a lot of people, they turned me on to then Charlie Parker and John Coltrane and this and that, but I was a Grover fanatic, and they would, oh man, Grover ain't nothing, he's not real you know but he's been one of my favorites. And and like I said, although I like all the rest of them, Sanborn and everybody, is still Grover does it for me. I recently, last month, I did a tribute to Grover Washington at Magooby's Joke House in Timonium,
okay.
and it went really well with these times. I
Mhm.
kept thinking it was going to be shut down and all that, but they did social distancing, they took temperatures, and the people really enjoyed it who came. So it was real interesting.
That's awesome. It seems like music is the one thing that we can count on during the pandemic here. I mean, like you can go to the internet and there are DJs
Hmm.
playing music,
Yes.
or like some artists may be performing and you can watch them live. But to be able to get out and to see someone live, I mean, you don't know who that night you may have made someone change their thoughts on things, because there's
Right.
been a lot of depression issues and stuff like that with
Yes. Yeah.
COVID. So to have music to the rescue, that's what's up. I love that. I
Mm-hmm.
love that. Um, so what genre? All right, let me just stop for a second. So you mentioned Grover and then you mentioned Coltrane. So you mentioned like the smoother jazz and then you mentioned like jazz. So what
Yeah.
genre do you prefer?
I'm more like a smooth jazz player, but I love all music. I love to
Okay.
listen to Coltrane. I love to listen to Charlie Parker. I love to be able to play that.
Uh-huh.
But right now I'm called upon for a lot of smooth jazz and a lot of R&B type stuff. That's
Mhm.
what I'm known to do. So that's I'm still working on that. Like I said, with this pandemic, I may come out, with some other
Hey,
stuff.
hey, I'd like
And,
to
and
hear
I
you
do I
play.
do a lot of gospel stuff. I play for different churches and been able to do different things at different churches.
Yeah, it seems like the roots of all music is like jazz and gospel. I mean, like you got the
Hmm.
jazz music and it's like great and you can, expand
Yeah.
on that. And then like gospel. And then now gospel's kind of like doing like this. So you're getting
Right.
like the
Right.
jazzy
Right.
gospel and stuff. So that's exciting. That's really, really exciting. So you say that you play jazz. I
Hmm.
mean, the smoother jazz. But if you had in a perfect world and you could just pick what you wanted to play, who would you play? Which side or what genre would you play?
Woo. Woo. That's a very tough question because it depends on the perfect world and
Right?
what you
which we don't have right now, but we're just going to pretend for 1 minute.
It depends on what you're trying to do and the circumstances of everything. Because like I said, around town there's not a lot of traditional jazz venue. You have Keystone Corner,
Uh-huh.
um, and they're trying to make it through, but it's not the same as like when I was coming up. You had the Jazz Closet, you had different places where you could
Hmm.
play at. And you can go in and you can hear mainstream jazz and stuff. Um, fast forward even before the pandemic, it wasn't a lot of places that, as many as it was when I was coming up that you can play at.
Right,
Hmm.
right. Um, so when in your playing career did you realize that you really had a niche for playing the sax and that, hey, I can really do this. I got something going on here. Do you remember that moment?
I'm hoping it will come soon. No.
Oh goodness. I was not expecting that when you got me good, okay?
No, you try to improve daily, and
Uh-huh.
and again, you go with the times, and just trying to learn different things and stuff. And these times are so I've learned so much coming through the years just based on times and the things you do and the relationships you have and
Right.
different things and how you make it and stuff.
Okay. Since I couldn't get an answer that way, let me be police detective. Let me reword that. Let's say this. When is your proudest moment in playing?
Mm. Someone asked my proudest moment. Like I said, I did okay, probably about 10, 11, 12, 13 years ago when I did the tour Ain't Misbehaving in
Uh-huh.
Montreal. That was good for me, at that time. That was something, that I wanted to accomplish. I felt good. I felt proud. And then this is what I'm saying with music, you go through different things.
Right.
Okay. Since then, I've been through a divorce, I remarried. So, you know, I may think of something else in church that when I played and spiritually I was fed and it meant a little more to me. So, it's you just got, peaks and you got, things you go up. So it's a lot of different moments, that you when you play that you think of. I
Okay.
don't know if that answers it.
It didn't, but that's okay. I'm still gonna get you. We're gonna get some. And since you didn't answer directly, I hope you are set up to play a little something for us. You gotta feed the beast here since
Hmm.
since you play it. Yeah.
No problem at all. No problem at all.
Okay, so you play with a lot of different groups around town, right? You
Yeah.
wanna?
Hmm.
So who do we play with?
Um, Again, I have my own group, Isaac Parham and Friends.
Hmm.
Um, I do have concerts on YouTube, that you can find if you put in Isaac Parham Jazz.
Hmm.
We do concerts and stuff. And I have some of the other groups that I played with, Rolex, The Next Level, um, Jimmy and Company. Mm,
Mm,
and it goes on Jazzy Blue. It's a few of them
you got
that
something out
I've
there.
played with. Yeah.
All right. So are there any new projects that you're working on now?
Yes, I did a Christmas song. I did Jingle Bells Over for Christmas, and you can find that the same way if you put in Isaac Parham in like iTunes or whatever, you can find that it'll come up. And I'm working on some new material now, just to get out because,
All
like I
right.
said, the times have changed now. The Jingle Bells thing again. I'm going back to farther, than you can probably remember. I I always had the Pee Wee Herman movie
Uh-huh.
Tequila mixed in my head. So I, probably, I, and every year I kept saying, you know what, I'm gonna do Jingle Bells with that song, ding 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 ding
Hmm.
ding ding ding, ding. And that's what I did. And like I said, if you put in Isaac Parham Jingle Bells, you can find it on Spotify and Amazon and all that stuff. but it was just kind of like an experiment for me. And it, I played it out a few times, and a lot of people got the reaction I would like them to get for it. And it was in a reaction of just being happier, and in these times, just
Right.
people smiling and saying, "Oh, I remember that," and doing the little dance and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I'll send it to you.
There you go. Do that. Do that. Since we've been talking about you playing, can you play a little something for us?
Sure. How does a little something go?
I don't
Not
know.
just.
I don't know. I just keep hearing people talking about it. So Mm. Get it now. You know what? You cannot go wrong with Stevie. You cannot.
Right.
And
Finding that out.
yes, let me tell you, that's and that song you picked, like, seriously, my favorite Stevie song. I
Oh,
mean, I'm
okay.
like, okay,
Great.
so look,
See, that's the
we
that's the
vibing
that's the
here.
connection.
I mean, seriously, because as is like, that's just that's like,
Hmm.
so, and then you worked it on out, did your own little arrangement, made it kind of sexy there. I was like, okay, first I was jamming like this, and I was like, hey, I gotta break it like this.
Yeah, but you got it. I like that song because you can feel it, and you can go
Mhm.
different places with it. So I was the same way. I was playing it, then I was like, okay, well maybe I can go
Yeah,
this place.
I was like, okay, he getting it. He's feeling that, and I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling that too. Let's work it on out, cuz let's work it on out. So next time we perform, I'm gonna be the dancer. You perform, and I'll be out there. Hey, I got you.
Okay, right.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes, yes. So, I know you when we were talking about like the different, like who you like Charlie Parker and
Hmm.
Coltrane and Grover. If you could play with anybody, if you could just sit down, do like a collaboration with dead or alive, who would you want to sit with?
That's an excellent, excellent, excellent question. And that's an excellent question. uh, um, and as far as playing wise, it's hard for me to. And again, when you read up on people, when you go back in times, you think about the times and certain things that people went through and this and that,
Right,
and you think, um, I have met Grover. I have words with him. He's a great guy.
right,
Um, I met Gerald Albright. Took a picture. Had words with him. He's a great
mhm,
guy.
right,
you know.
right.
Um, I met I met Kirk Whalum. Where so it's like I don't. And you hear their music, and I'm saying to say I might me being humble and maybe a little shy. I may be shy to play
You may be
around with
shy.
and thinking about the older artists, Charlie Parker, that he probably has some substance things, so it's kind of a loaded question, but I love them all. I love them all. And again, like I said, with technology, you play. I was in California at the NAMM show, and I met a lot of people.
Mhm.
And even by being on Facebook, people see you and they kind of know you, you know.
Right.
So,
Right.
you know, when I was just standing there, Najee walked up to me, "Hey, what's up, Oz?" You know, and I'm like, "Ooh," I was
You're
freaking
like,
out.
oh,
But
you know me.
you know, but people, you know, they see you and they know you, and that's the whole technology thing makes the world a little smaller. It
Right.
makes the music circle a little smaller, so you can
Right.
reach out to people, and you can play to these people. You know, a lot of guys right now are doing like online lessons and stuff, and you can, you know, play with them that way. So you know, it's hard to say. You know, it's really hard to say who. You know.
See, there you go again. You know, you should be in politics because you know how to tap dance around
Wow.
the question.
Wow.
You know, you're like, oh, I'm not gonna step in that sinkhole. Let me just tread it on across here. You know, spread a little butter with everybody. You
Mhm.
know, so
Yeah, because you know the same way, you know, because I do things certain when you get older and you used to doing things a certain way. It may not be the right way, but it's the
uh-huh.
way you do things, you
Right.
know.
I got you. I
So
got you.
it kind of I might get with them and they say, "Hey, man, you need to do this some other way," you know, and that,
Mm.
mm, you know,
Music is very personal
yeah,
when
it
you're
is.
playing.
It's
You
very
know,
personal, very personal.
because you can like it can be written this way, and you're like, okay, I can play it this way, but that's not how I connect with it.
How you
So
feel it and how
right.
you know. So it's really up to you, you know. And I like they said, you can't teach an old what an old dog new tricks, but you know what works for you. You know you do what works for you. You know, and that's not to say that I wouldn't take their criticisms or whatever. You know,
Mhm.
but mm, it's just
Gotcha.
hard. Yeah,
Gotcha. I understand. So, so two little questions. They kind of go together, but
sure.
I'll do them separately. First off, what does music mean to you? Like, if someone were to say, Isaac, what could you define music? What does music mean to you?
Okay, I'm gonna give you my political answer.
Oh Lord, not the politics again.
To me, music means everything to me. You know, and
Mhm.
you constantly hearing music and stuff, and you know when I play music I hear different things in my head, you know, like earlier when you asked me did I ever go back and play the song by the Temptations,
Mhm.
and I said no, but it's in my head so I know I can play it.
Right.
And it's just the thing that you get after when you've been doing this 30 or 40 years, you know,
Mhm.
and when you get to a certain comfort level, you know, you can do certain things, you know. My playing has changed um, through my life's changes and my life's
Okay.
experiences.
Mhm.
So you know, it's certain things. You know, it's sort of like, to me, I'm a big Rocky buff. It's sort of like boxing. You you know, you get older, you don't have the speed, you don't have that, so you have to do what works for you. You know,
Right.
and you have to do certain things and stuff, and that's been kind of working for me.
Gotcha. It,
Mm.
it, music is like living, and it
Yes.
evolves. Is yeah. So that's
Hmm.
I gotcha. I gotcha.
Definitely.
So, with knowing what music means to you, now,
Okay.
like, let's ask about this because you keep talking about like your life changing and stuff. So, when things are hard, difficult,
Hmm.
what's your go to? What's your go to song? Like, if you're like, you know what, today I'm just not connecting with what's going on. You know, I'm just
Well, um, I really okay. I'm gonna answer it. I was gonna say I really don't have a go-to song, but
okay.
I would say maybe Amazing Grace.
Mm,
You know, or Jesus, You're the Center of My Joy,
mm,
and you know, it's just when you get caught up in the music, you can play certain things, and then you get to thinking about certain things, and you get to being grateful for certain things that
right,
you have experience with that.
right.
You
And the
know.
fact that you've chosen gospel music for that, I mean that says a lot because a foundation. That's it's when having to have a belief system and something that you
Hmm.
believe in, someone that you believe in,
Right.
being able to go to a gospel song and having it touch you beyond like the surface, like to
Hmm.
really, feel
Hmm.
that that's amazing. And people sleep on Amazing Grace because it's been around for a long time, but
Yeah.
ain't nothing more amazing than His grace. So
Right. Right.
so that's
And it goes back to what you were asking me before about my most proud moment or whatever. And like I said, through the years, your moments change because when you're younger, you're thinking about a lot of stuff for yourself. Now, I've played songs, and people have come up to me and they say, "Hey, that really blessed me. I needed that, and this and
mhm,
that," and how they approach me really, gets into my heart and my soul.
mhm,
So it that means a lot to me as well. So it's you got to look at it different sides of the coin, because some stuff, like I said, when I was younger, I wasn't really thinking like that.
mhm.
But I'm older. I have 5 kids and 5 grandkids, and I'm coming over the coin.
Right.
You have to look at those things.
Right. Yeah. As I often tell people, I was like, you know what? I'm on the downslope now. I'm no longer on the upslope.
Right,
So when you're going on the downslope, it's like things that used to bother you don't bother you anymore.
right,
You know,
exactly,
like that's
exactly.
not important anymore. Or like
It-
if you're like, oh, my dream is to play with Beyonce and Jay-Z. When you're on the
mhm,
other side, you're like, okay, that's okay for that, but is that a lasting
exactly.
feeling? Is that something that when I'm breaths away from not being here, is that going to be like, oh, that's my
Right,
defining moment? No, so for
exactly.
I love that. I love it. I love it. Love it. Um, so we did talk a little bit about um like playing through COVID. Has COVID really changed for you? How has COVID changed the music for you, besides being able to be on the internet? I mean, like performances, did you lose a lot of performances,
Oh
gigs?
Lord.
Yeah, and then like, are you able to be creative in trying to recreate those opportunities?
Well, like I mentioned before, the I said I played with the group Rolex. Rolex was for a few years we were voted by Martha Stewart like the top wedding band in
Okay.
the DMV.
Mhm.
So we would do a lot of weddings for a lot of politicians.
Mm,
I remember doing something across the street from the White House, before this. Um, Before I got into the band, they had did what's that? Sierra and the football player. I can't
oh yeah,
remember.
Russell
Yeah,
Wilson.
they
Mhm.
did their wedding,
Wow.
and um so yes, I missed
Yeah, I get it. I got you.
because we do a lot of high profile stuff,
Uh-huh.
and although we're in the background, doing it for different ways, they're an excellent band and they do it. And I missed with my group. I was doing a lot of things. We were able to do a concert online early on, last year. But I kind of, missed the interaction, because just as things was happening, we had a concert scheduled with Rosa Pryor. She's a promoter, and
Mhm.
and I kept calling her saying, "Is this still on?" And she was like, "Yeah," and then like that weekend, the day before, she was like, "Everybody's calling, and it's calling and off, and this and that." And this was back in, I think it was in March,
Okay.
beginning of March.
Yeah, that's when everything really like.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, exactly. So
Mm.
I've been able to do some things online and some different things, So it's a whole new it's a whole new learning set, It's like I can't come down to practice. I gotta get my studio together,
Right, I got you.
and do things. So and it push you back to recording more things and stuff. That's why I said I'm definitely working on things,
Mhm.
as I learn, I'm just working on some different things.
Yeah. A good friend of mine who was on a couple weeks ago was like, during COVID, he's like, create and release. He's like, I'm not holding on to stuff anymore. He's like, I'm
Right.
creating it, I'm releasing it. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for, let me get something out here, to help the masses, get
Right.
through COVID with music.
Hmm.
So, anyhow, it looks like we're on our 30 minutes.
Oh,
I
okay. Oh,
Time
darn.
goes by so quickly, it really does. I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be on my show.
Oh,
And I'm
thank
hoping to
you.
have you back on again so we
I
can
look forward
have you
to it.
play some music. Um, so isaacparham.com, is that how, if anybody wants to reach you, is that how they
Yes.
get in touch?
I
Do you have videos on that site also?
Not as many as I have on YouTube. I'm trying to
YouTube.
get some on that, but if you
Okay.
want to see video, the best thing to do is go on to YouTube and just put in Isaac Parham sax or Isaac Parham jazz. And if you
Gotcha.
come across my channel, I have things on there. I'm trying to intertwine the two.
Gotcha.
That's
Gotcha.
something I'm working on.
Hey, this is a good time to work on it too. So when we're finally
Got it.
able to go outside again,
Right,
we'll be
right.
set.
Okay.
All right. So thanks again. And
Thank you.
to my audience, thank you guys for tuning in on Tuesday and having your lunch with me. And to quote the late, great Don Cornelius, always imparting, we wish you love, peace, and
So,
soul.
thank you so much.